All right, let's talk about something we've all had drilled into our heads for years, the emergency fund. Save 6 months of expenses, keep it in cash. It's like the golden rule of personal finance, right? But what if that rule is broken? What if following the safest advice is actually making you poorer every single day? Today, we're going to pull that thread and see what unravels.
And look, let's be fair, the idea itself is solid. Having that cash buffer, it's not just about the math. It's about that feeling, that psychological safety net. It's what lets you sleep at night, knowing that if the car breaks down, or worse, you lose your job, you've got a cushion. It's a huge stress reliever.
But here's the big question, the one we need to ask. What if that safety net you've worked so hard to build is, well, what if it's got a hole in it? A slow leak that you can't even see that's making it weaker and weaker over time. To see what I mean, let's talk about someone we'll call Lauren. Now, Lauren is the perfect example of someone who did everything right. For 7 straight years, she saved $600 a month, every month. And she hit her goal, $52,000 in a cash emergency fund. That's exactly 6 months of her expenses. She feels safe, she feels responsible, but she's actually losing money. See, Lauren was following the old financial rule book. You know the one. It says you got to save 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. And the whole point was always liquidity and safety. You need money you can get your hands on fast, and it can't be tied up in the stock market. For decades, that meant one thing: put it in a savings account. But here's the problem. That old rule book doesn't really account for the world we live in now. There's a hidden cost to keeping all that cash just sitting there. It's an invisible tax that's eating away at your savings. Let me show you. Okay, so check this out. The math here is simple, but it's kind of brutal. Lauren's high-yield savings account is earning her 4%. Now, 4% sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But here's the catch. Inflation is running at 6%. So the price of everything, gas, groceries, rent, is going up way faster than her money is growing. And what that means is her real return is actually negative 2%. Every single year, her $52,000 buys 2% less stuff than it did the year before. So even though the number in her bank account looks good, her actual spending power is shrinking. Now, if you zoom out over 10 years, this is where it gets really painful. That little 2% leak adds up to $14,000. That's $14,000 of purchasing power just gone, vanished into thin air because of inflation. It's a huge, silent loss. This quote from a blog called Bob Invests just says it all, doesn't it? She thinks she's playing it safe, but what she's really doing is locking in a loss. She's guaranteeing her safety net will be smaller and less effective right when she might need it most. So if the all-cash emergency fund is a leaky bucket, what do? Well, you don't just throw out the idea of a safety net. No way. You build a better one, a smarter one. And that's where this idea of a tiered safety net comes in. The big idea here is actually pretty brilliant. It's that not all emergencies are the same, right? A $500 car repair is a totally different problem than losing your job for 6 months. So this strategy matches how fast you need the money with where you keep the money. It's all about balancing that need for quick cash with the need to fight inflation. So you can kind of picture it like this: 3 different layers of protection. You've got your instant cash for the small, annoying stuff. Then you have a midterm buffer for the bigger problems. And finally, you have a big backstop for a true worst-case scenario emergency. Okay, so that's the concept. But how do you actually, build this thing? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what kinds of accounts you would use for each of these tiers. All right, here's the blueprint. Tier 1, that's for your first 1 or 2 months of expenses. This stuff stays in a high-yield savings account or a money market account. It's your, oh crap, the dishwasher broke fund. Easy to access. Then for Tier 2, the next 2 to 4 months, you can put that in things like T-bills or short-term bond ETFs. You'll get a better return, and you can still get your cash in a few days. And then Tier 3, the backstop. This is the money for a real long-term disaster. This can go into a conservative investment account or even the contributions in your Roth IRA, which, fun fact, you can pull out anytime, tax and penalty-free. And the beauty of setting it up this way is that it's just so much more efficient. You've got your immediate cash for the everyday stuff, you've got a slightly less liquid but higher earning bucket for bigger issues, and the biggest chunk of your fund, the part you'll probably never even need to touch, is actually growing and protecting you from inflation. It's the best of all worlds. And let's put some real numbers on this. With her all-cash fund, Lauren's earning about $2,080 a year in interest.
But if she switched to a tiered fund, that blended return could jump to over $3,100. That's over $1,000 extra every single year, just for being a little smarter about where she keeps her money. Now, I can practically hear some of you thinking, this sounds great in theory, but man, it also sounds kind of complicated. And you know what? That is a totally fair point. An optimized strategy isn't always the right strategy for everyone. The numbers have to work, but your mindset has to work too. I saw a comment on Reddit that just nailed this feeling. Somebody wrote, "This seems exhaustively complex." And for some people, it is. The simple peace of mind of having all your cash in one place, well, that can be worth more than the extra interest you'd earn from a complicated setup. And really, that's what this all boils down to. It's a personal question. What gives you more peace of mind? Is it knowing that your plan is perfectly optimized down to the last dollar? Or is it the comfort of a simple plan that's easy to manage? There's really no wrong answer here. So how do you decide? Well, this tiered strategy, it tends to be a great fit if you have a stable job and not a lot of high-interest debt. You also need to be the kind of person who won't panic and sell your investments if the market gets a little rocky. But if your income is unpredictable, or you're trying to pay down credit cards, or if you just know you'd freak out seeing your emergency fund balance go down, then honestly, holding more cash is probably the right move for you. At the end of the day, it really comes down to this. The best financial plan isn't the one that looks the prettiest on a spreadsheet. It's the one you can actually stick with. It's the one that matches your personality and your life, and most importantly, it's the one that lets you sleep at night. So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. Take a look at your own finances and ask yourself, is your safety net really safe, or is it just sitting still, slowly losing its ability to protect you? The answer could change everything.